and I do welcome and congratulate the Honourable Member for Eastleigh for bringing this, and she gave a fantastic speech. It's great to be in a debate where there is so much consensus around women's role in this place and in society. In the words of Emmeline Pankhurst, Sir Roger, we are here not in our efforts to be lawbreakers, but in our efforts to be lawmakers. Emmeline Pankhurst made those comments when she was tried for trying to break into Parliament. We are lucky that none of us, women or men here today, had to break in. We also are just across the hall from the cupboard where Emily Wilding Davidson hid on the night of the census. And unfortunately, there is no public face to that memorial. You have to be a member to get in there. There is something about this building, there is something about our surroundings that are in some ways exclusionary. They are difficult to penetrate, and I think we have to think about the kind of Parliament and the kind of building that this is. When you look at the more modern parliaments in places like Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, where there is a seat for every member and you can vote by simply pushing a button, the fact that you don't have to queue up for 20 minutes makes it more modern, open and attractive. For my part, I am proud of what Scotland has achieved in terms of gender balance. We have one of only a handful of gender balanced cabinets in Scotland. We have our first female First Minister. We also had, up until recently, 3 female leaders of the Scottish National Party, the Conservatives and Labour, although sadly Kezia Dugdale has recently moved on. And I think there is a huge amount to be said also for predecessors and the giants on which myself and my SNP colleagues stand, like Winnie Ewing. 50 years ago this year, Winnie Ewing was elected to this place, and she will be the only parliamentarian to sit in the European Parliament, the House of Commons and the Scottish Parliament. In terms of my own constituency in Livingston, I was inspired to stand by my mother. My mother stood in 2010 in the Livingston constituency. Sadly, she was defeated by a man, but I got the pleasure of 5 years later standing against him and beating him and succeeding where, sadly, she had failed. But my opposite numbers in my constituency, Fiona Hyslop MSP and Constance MSP, are both women. Neither of them came from shortlists, and West Lothian and the Livingston constituency has had a proud tradition of producing female parliamentarians. I'm not going to give away all of our secrets, but it has been about having an open and inclusive process, encouraging women from the grassroots up, and particularly encouraging young women. And I think what we see now is, with the Scottish Youth Parliament and the UK Youth Parliament, is many more young people, many more women engaged in politics, interested in standing, and that is something that we should all be proud of. But we have a duty on ourselves. We have a duty in how we speak to each other in the chamber and how we conduct our public discourse, and I think it is very important that we remember that, and that we do all we can to encourage more women into Parliament.
Listen here.